what will be introduced today is a simple method of acoustic adjustment that can be done using smartphone. So as you can see, this is our targeting system. Any sound system that can be adjusted in shown in the figure here can be adjusted and can be fixed. Sound system such as small venues, such as conference rooms and banquet halls, with a size approximately 25 meters times 25 meters. Concert halls and recording studio are not included. The mixer and speakers should be in the same room or in adjacent rooms and within the reach of the LAN cable. Microphone can be either wired or wireless. Both digital devices like a digital amplifier, digital mixers, and analog devices are also acceptable. Speakers and power amplifiers can be either low or high impedance. So this is the example of our TOA devices that can be adjusted. The AM864D, the mixer like the A5012, a digital speaker processor like the DP-SP3, the BX3000, or the M8080D. Those can be adjusted using that smartphone. This acoustic adjustment may not be suitable to adjust some of the system. For example, if the venue is too large, if there's a lot of background noise, or the system is malfunctioning, or there's a lot of reverberation going on at the site, so that might not be suitable for that for this kind of simple acoustic adjustment. So we recommend you check or prepare a checklist before making the sound adjustment. For example, like, is there any EQ setting on the mixer you can make use of it? Or can you talk to the owner to spare like more than an hour or about an hour to do the adjustment? Or is it okay for you to go to the control room or to get access to the rack, equipment rack, and do some stuff and adjustment? This is the checklist you have to make before you do the acoustic adjustment. So here is some of the frequently encountered problems or issues of a audio system setup. Like, for example, the sound crackled, distorted, sound is muffled or echoing, sometimes produce high-pitched squeal, and make it difficult to increase the volume. So now, let me introduce a smartphone apps called an audio analyzer. So this is a free version called Sonic Tools. You can download from the Play. This is not from the Play Store. You can download it from the Apple Store. So this is the free version. So it's called the Sonic Tools. This is a free smartphone apps that can perform acoustic measurement. As you can see, when you deploy this app, you can check with the sound pressure, the sound dBs, and also the frequency response. So this is one of the app you can prepare to install on your smartphone. Another smartphone we could recommend is called the Sound Tools. It comes with the SPL. It can be also used to check with the polarity of the speaker system, and also you can use it as a generator to generate desired audio measuring frequency or sound. Besides the iPhone or iPad, you may find other apps on the Android Play Store. So you can also find some other type of apps. You can make use of other type of apps on the Android as well. But for today, we're using the Sound Tools and the one we introduced for the iPhone and iPad to give as an example. So here, for example, one of the icons you see there is the polarity checking. So by generating pop sound, a signal, you can determine whether the speaker or whether the system is in a correct polarity. So it's always get omit at some of the system. So the right hand side and the left hand side is not in the same polarity and make the sound quite weird. So let me just go through how do you prepare for a sound measurement. To prepare 2 smartphones with an app installed, I just introduced the Sonic apps and one before it, and a computer with a configuration software installed. For example, if you are using M8080D mixer, and you can prepare the computer at the laptop with that setting software and some necessary cables. For example, the network, the lens cable, and some audio cables. So here is an example of how the setup should be. You see there are 2 devices. One device is called the smartphone 1, is sending signal to the system. And the other, here we use the iPad as an example, is a reception. And also there's another smartphone on top of that iPad. So we can use the smartphone or the iPad as a receiving device of the signal sending from the smartphone number 1. So the smartphone number 1 will connect to your mixer, the setting software with on the configuration computer will be connecting to the mixer, and then you will generate the signal from the smartphone, and then you will have to do the sound adjustment. So before doing the adjustment, we also recommend to check the input and output channels, making sure that the proper signals has been delivered through the system, the mixer, and the amplifier. And also here we have an example of checking the phase, and also the XCE connections with the might be having a wrong polarity, wrong phase. So again, so the smartphone will be connecting to the mixer, and the output will be now here we use the polarity setting as a example. On the apps itself, you enable the test signal output, so there will be a pop sound coming out from your smartphone and delivered to the mixer. If you are in phase or if you are in the correct polarity, the plus sign will show up. So for example, if you are testing, if you are having a right and left speaker, for example, so you put the smartphone closer to the right hand side of the speakers, and then you get a plus, for example, you got a positive sign. But when you put the smartphone on the left hand side, if you get a minus, that means that something wrong with the left hand side and polarity, and then you have to check with the polarity of the left hand side speakers. But if you have both negative, we consider it's an okay setup, but not ideal. So that means they are in phase, but they are in wrong connections if they are having both minus. So besides of the polarity checking, another quite common problems we encounter for the audio setup will be the sound cracking or distorted. One of the most common issue will be the insignificant level input to the system. The volume on the sound source device is not adjusted correctly, causing excessive input to the mixer. So there's a mismatch in the audio signal levels, causing the waveform to be distorted or cut. Usually this happens a lot in the mic setup, the microphone setup. So here's come the solution. Adjust the volume of each device to avoid excessive input levels by turning down the gain. So the mismatch of the audio signal levels will be corrected. So another causation of the cracking or distorted sound will be the signal level from the sound source device is too high, as shown in the diagram here, causing excessive input to the mixer. Some of the device or the mixer or the player or the source generation, the generator. So the output, the level is not the same as the reception, like the mixer, the mixer reception level. So that's a mismatch of the audio signal levels. So it also makes the waveform to become distorted or cut, as you see in the diagram there. So how can we cure this? If the volume adjustment cannot be made on this kind of situation, it will be necessary to add a level correction attenuator, or of course, we consider an altered device or find another device and used to ensure the proper signal output. So in here, we can use a 12 dB attenuator to attenuate that signal to match the mixer side of the reception side of the system. For your information, so the dBV represents the magnitude of the voltage reference to 1 volt, and the VBU represents the magnitude of the voltage reference to 0.775 volts. So here is the one of the way we do the gain, we adjust the gain structure. So after you put in the attenuator, and then you connect to the microphone, and you speak to the microphone and try to see whether there's a peak like on the mixer, see whether it's light on light up or not. So it will control the it will make you a better control of the gain input, the output from the source. And if the peak light is still light up, that means the gain might be a little bit too high, and then you can adjust a little bit lower to crank down the input gain. And also besides the input side, and for the output, for adjust the output failure, the output level also is an important step for you to adjust the proper gain structure here. So here also mentioned about the HC and E. So somehow the balance connection, some of the system, the connection of the HC got swapped and got wrongly soldered or connected. So it's also a good chance, good time to check whether this HCE is in a correct connections. So after you've done all the gain structure, so the logic is you start from the beginning. You start from the mic side, you start from the input side, and then you adjust the fader of the output, and then lastly you adjust the amplifier level. So after you find an optimum, if you find a good setting or position, so we recommend you put in some label and put the label on the mixer and also the amplifier as well. So that makes so sometimes I know some of the integrators they will use a glass door rack and to store all the equipment and then lock it and then prevent people to accidentally crank up and crank down and to the system. But sometimes the customer might need to do some adjustment on the mixer itself. So we recommend you put the labels on the mixer to indicate the proper setup. So the red one, the red labels is saying that's the maximum before you got distorted. So the green will be the proper gain output for the particular output of the for example it's a mic. So that means the optimum setting will be in between the red and green marks. And also the green marks on the amplifier will be also is the proper setting. And usually that there's no need for the customer to crank it up or down. So that might be worth to mention to the customer. This is not supposed to be adjusted. So the next frequently encountered problem would be the sounds being muffled and echoing. Same as before, you have to prepare two smartphones, one's for signal generating and the other will be for reception for doing the testing. In between, you will also get prepared a configuration computer for the EQ setting. So here is just an example of an area, a room. So we assume the acoustic equipment in this lecture room is similar to this lecture room. So we suggest, we recommend this kind of lecture room would be the ideal place for you to do adjustment and measurement. So, and also the speaker is shown on the picture. So you will do this measurement one by one. So there are two speakers here, and you will do one by one. So firstly, connect the smartphone to the mixer, and try to turn down the volume when you begin to do the sound adjustment or measurement. Start from lower volume in case there is a sudden sound or noise came up from the system, and increase the volume gradually. So here we're using that the apps on the smartphone to generate sound toolset to generate the signal to feed to the system. So you can follow these steps by selecting the RTA and select the generator window will appear, and then you select pink. It's kind of the pink noise, and adjust the volume both on the app and the smartphone itself. Press play or stop, and then you will generate a pink noise and feed to the system. Place the smartphone with the audio analyzer at the sound tool set in the front axis of the speakers, closer to the speakers within the audio area, and to measure the frequency characteristics and make the EQ adjustment accordingly. After working on the right-hand side speaker, and then you are good to go for the left-hand side speaker as well. One more thing for the output sound level. So we recommend you put in 75 dB, or maximum to put it in 80. It's better for you to standardize this output dB, because when you do multiple different kind of venue and as times go by, we have different kind of projects, it's easy for the engineer or for the technician to have a basic standard if we're using the 75 dB. Yeah, so in here, as I said, so put it in the 75 to 80 degrees the pink noise, and by reading the data, the information on the smartphone, you will see there is a graph showing up, and then you can crank up the fader or the adjust the volume until it reaches 75 dB. Once you've done that, then you can go back to the setting software of your mixer, and then you can according. So here we use the SRH2L speakers as an example. So you can use this table from the menu. You can see from you can find it from your speaker menu, and then according to the PEQ, according to the different frequency, and put in the gain, the value, and also the Q value. So the next procedure will be the EQ adjustment. So switch the mode of the Sonic Tools apps to audio spectrum. Tap this button and change it to RTA 1/3. RTA 1/3 is just a scale, so it's not necessary to follow this, but we just make it standard. Put it in 1/3. Adjust the EQ so that the 250 to 4K value circling the line dots becomes initially flat with a value of 1K, 1 kilohertz as the baseline. So basically here, what we are doing is we try to make try to adjust the EQ, all the frequency band to become flat. So even if you are sending a good signals or flat signal to the system, but after there's a reflection on the value and some characteristic of the speaker itself, it does not become a flat ideal output frequency level. So what we have done here is try to make it flat again and make it back to the optimal frequency response for the particular speaker for the particular value. So this is what we have done here, and try to put the EQ using the EQ adjustment to try to make it the sound back to the optimal level. So here, adjust by lowering the high gain point first. So if they see any high gain points, you can lower that first, and then set the Q if you need to. Sometimes you want a narrow Q and something more broad, but usually if you have some kind of, for example, you have some echo, we recommend you use a narrow Q. And here's bypassing the EQ and on and off to see the difference between the sound you have to make at the adjustment. So here is the quick review. So adjust the speaker one by one. As our example, we start from the right-hand side first, and then we did the left-hand side. Compare the measurement across different locations. So sometimes if you have more than 2 speakers, so you can place your apps, your mic, or your apps. Sorry, the apps, the smartphone with the apps that was closer to the speakers, and test the microphone and play a sound source according to the overall sound quality. And remember to save the configuration. Repeat the process if the further tuning is needed. So the next common issue will be the audio feedbacks. So audio feedbacks, I think most of the integrators and installer experience this. So usually it's a kind of a loop audio feedback from the system. So the causation will be either the microphone and the speakers are too close and volume has not been properly adjusted. So similar to the previous setup, so we use a smartphone to as a receive side to receive the sound from the speaker, and then connect the second software laptop to the mixer. Review the volume first, and then review the position of the speakers. So if your mixer equipped with the FBS, the feedback system, if available, so for example, like M864D or VX3000, you can enable that, and after that you can conduct the EQ adjustment. Same as the setup before. So place the microphone, the smartphone location where we intended to check the feedback. Usually, if you have the specific spot having the feedback, and you will put the smartphone over there and set the scale to 1 to 12. This is our recommendation. Try to induce the audio feedback gradually by turning up the fader on the mixer. So next step will be same as before. Check the EQ setting. Reduce the frequency shown in the sonic tools by 3 to 6 dB. If you find that frequency is having feedback, increase the Q value and check the frequency again and see until it is gone. So also we recommend you put in the stickers to indicate the optimum or appropriate volume level on the mixer if there's a fader, right? For example, M864. So So the below step after adjusting the frequency characteristic, if necessary, applying the following adjustment beforehand may degrade the sound quality. So the gain structure, what we mentioned before, is the first step. So after you've done all the correction or the adjustment, and then you will go through this frequency EQ adjustment. So this is the second fine-tune tips. So if you notice this the sound is quite weak, it's not so full, what we call it, so not so thick. So you can try to push up boost the high shelf around 7.5 kHz to up to 5 or 10 dB. It's according to what kind of mixer you use. So if you're experiencing some excess bass, so there's a lot of bass, but you also induce some feedbacks and reverberation. So we recommend you can push the low frequency and set the Q value to around 3. So here the number 4 tips, if the low frequency is still rustling, so we use the 100 Hz and low frequency. If the sound is quite hollow and boomy, so we recommend you can reduce the 400 Hz around 400 Hz to 2 kilohertz is around the mid range by like 60 dB or the Q value of 4. So here is the quick summary. Check the connection, adjust the bubble gain structure, do the EQ adjustment, try to eliminate all the audio feedback, and do some kind of fine tuning by adjust each particular frequency by cranking up the dB, cranking up the level. So you will be surprised. Some of the user they keep complaining about the audio and mic issues, but maybe they are not holding or using the mic properly. So some people they will just placing the mic too far away from their mouth, or too close it, or they used to rock the microphone and then they just hit the microphone sometimes and then try to make sure the sounds coming out from the mixer. So all those things will having potentially damage or having a bad audio sound quality. So here is some example for how to properly holding a microphone to speak in the microphone. And also we mentioned this, as we mentioned before. So putting a label will be a good practice to also bring the attention to the user. And here is what's the meaning about the red tape and what's the meaning about the green label. And also we recommend you prepare a report for the sound measurement, for sound measurement or sound adjustment right before or right after. What's the difference between the before and after? And take some screenshots of the before setting or after setting. So it not only for you to keep a record for your future revisit, and also it can show the customer that you are so professional how to adjust the system and how did you cure or fix their problem by doing this kind of setup. So that's it for today. Sound measurement using smartphone. So this is not meant to replace the sophisticated or the large scale of audio adjustment or audio measurement, but just using the smartphone, you can easily to have a grasp on, easily understand, and usually explain to the customer how to improve the system instantly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. As I imagine, this was quite a info-heavy webinar for us all. So while this will be going up to our YouTube afterwards, if you'd like to watch it again, maybe take it as your pocket guide. This is all been about smartphones and accessibility. I want to take a moment now, just before we get into our giveaway, to say if there's any questions, any comments that came up over the course of the webinar. Please feel free to shoot them into the chat or the Q&A, and we will address those now while we have Ken in the room with us.
Dr. South.